Okay. Hello, everyone. So we would be conducting the sessions on introductions to the BigQuery tables and some fundamentals to be covered for of the SQL. So uh, before starting this session, I would just like to know very quickly, like how many of you are aware of the GCS and BigQuery setup and are aware that that has been done to their organization's account. Can type just one in the chat bot in the chat box. And if you are not unsure of how this thing happens, like how the GCS or BigQuery is being set up, or not aware if it has been set up for your organization, can type two. Okay, great, great. I'm seeing a one, so I'm happy to see that. Okay, so moreover, everyone is aware of the setup. So we'll be continuing our session, which would be led by Amisha. So she has a experience, good hands-on experience on BigQuery and SQL, and would be taking you through the session. Before starting, I would just like to share a disclaimer. Like we would be sharing the tables from our accounts of staging accounts, which would have certain phone numbers. So those are uh, those the data belongs to the Glific itself, but those are the numbers of previous and past team members who use the account for testing and other purposes. So I would request the attendees to avoid taking any pictures or recording the screens, uh, so that we can keep the confidentiality and abide by the data protection privacy laws. Post this session gets over, when this would be uploaded publicly, those numbers would be masked or blurred. Okay. Amisha, over to you.
Thanks, Priyesh. I'll share my screen. I'm audible, right?
Yes, to me, it's perfectly fine.
Priyesh, I'm not able to share my screen. It's saying host disabled.
Okay, just a second. Yeah, can you try once more? Are you able to now? Okay. Thanks.
The screen is up, right? Okay, cool.
It's visible.
Yeah. Okay. So today the session is about BigQuery tables and SQL fundamentals for chatbot operation. Um, uh, and the our objective for this call will be to get comfortable with BigQuery, use perform some basic sanity checks like messages, contacts, and running SQL queries to chatbot operations. Before diving into the operations and how we do the BigQuery analysis or how we run the SQL queries, here is the overview of how the BigQuery works. Yeah. So BigQuery syncs data every 2 minutes from Glific to BigQuery. So you can see the latest information is in BigQuery. That's whatever is in your chatbot, we can see in the BigQuery after 2 minutes. And where to find data. So these are the major tables that we have data on, and we perform our operations in is messages, contacts, flow results, and flow contacts. So messages table has all the messages that contact send in the chatbot, and contact table, as the name says, it has all the contacts that we have in our chatbot. Flow results is the we store all the results that we get in a flow. I mean, when we ask for image, we ask for any question to ask anything, everything goes to flow results table. And flow context table keeps the note of how the flow is going, basically the whole journey of flow. Like flow went to this node, then this node. So these all data is in flow context table. And how to query data. So using SQL, we can use we can see the data in BigQuery. So that I'll be explaining in next slide. Here, before making the queries directly, so we start with the scenario. The scenario is that, let's say you are an NGO, name is Citizens, and you work in a fitness sector, and you use Glific. So when we onboard, we all the NGOs have their onboarding flow that takes some user um, uh, details like name, gender, age, and based on your requirements. So this is their basic onboarding flow, and then they have another engaging flow that runs every day and ask user like, you went to the gym today or not? If yes, then send a message or send an image. So this is the basic scenario we are going with for the BigQuery operation. And the as an NGO, as citizens, what data I would want to know from my BigQuery that will help me to analyze my overall chatbot. So first of all, I would want to check like data is there in the BigQuery. So before starting anything, I would check if my data is there in the BigQuery, it is synced or not. So these things. And second is I want to know like how many contacts I have onboarded so far, how many users are there in my chatbot using our chatbot. And flow details, like if I'm starting an onboarding flow or an engaging flow, I would want to know this flow has ran for how many users actually got the message. And if I want to know any specific information about users message, like if someone asks any question like, okay, should I take this protein or that protein, or is it how will it affect my health, these kind of question, so I can also check the user's message. And apart from the analysis part of my chatbot, I would also want to know if I'm using BigQuery and if I'm making any queries there, how it will affect my data. Because sometimes it might delete your data, it might just replace your data with something else, or can affect your data if you make any mistakes in your query. And the last part I would want to know is if I'm making a query today, like if I'm checking how many contacts are today in my chatbot, and I want to check that I want to check that thing every day. So every day I don't want to go in BigQuery and repeat the same query again. So how can I automate my query? So these are the things that we'll cover in the upcoming slides here. So first of all is the contact information. So the first thing is how I would how to know how many contacts are there in my chatbot. So the query that we will use to extract the contact, like how many contact, is select count distinct phone from this is your BigQuery data table, and distinct we put to get the unique phone number, so that when we make the count and when we get the count, we would get the repeated users. So I'll just run this thing in our BigQuery. And before running this, as Priyesh already mentioned, uh, I mean, we would want nobody to take pictures and all, because this has our phone number, the Glyphix contact number. So we will share the presentation with you later. So I'll just show you. So here, if you go to your BigQuery, then you select your project here. Here, if you click. From here, you can select your project. Okay. And then this will show you a drop down, and from here you can select your bot number. Like this is the bot number that we are going with for today's presentation, and you select the tables here. This is the contact tables, and if you go to contact table, this is the schema. Schema means what all we have in the table. The ID is the unique ID for all the users. Name is the name of user, phone number. Provider status is the status of user, like session and HSM. If user is in session, so his status will be HSM, or if the user is in session, so status will be session. So these are, and status is the thing that user is has opted in or not, if it's a valid user or invalid user, that the user has given the consent or not. And languages, opt-in method, opt-in time, these are the things. And all the contact variable we store inside the fields here. This is the schema. It's like label. If I'm in my flow, if I have age, then user enters his age, so the age will come as label, and the whatever age is putting is will become as value here. I'll show you in the this is just, I'm giving you the overview of the context. So this is the major thing. Here, if you go to preview, we can see how the data is looking like. So this is the username, phone, provider status, as session and HSM. That means user is still in session window, and status valid, language, and field label. So label collection and the value. So these are the collection that user is in, and the name. These are the things that we see. Now, if I want to, so going back to query, like how we want to know how many users we have in our chatbot. So here I will click on query, and here I'll run the query. So this is giving me, like, we currently have 1,460 users in my chatbot right now. So using the count query, I can know my users in the chatbot. And second is, if I want to extract the contact variable. Contact variable means the variable that store in contact profile when we ask the user the same thing I explained, age or state or anything. If I'm just storing that, so I can just randomly take a number from here. I can put the filter. So this thing will give me all the flow label that this particular contact has. And I can check for this particular contact. So here. So the collection that user is in, these are the collection name. And so the user has tested multiple times. Data is coming like that. And yeah, this is the second query. Any questions so far? Okay.
Sorry, I had a question. Yeah, just to clarify, what you've done here is that for a specific phone number, you're looking at all the field variables, right?
Yeah, the flow. Yeah.
In that given. Have you selected flow as well? Or that's because it's updated to contact, it's not dependent on the flow, right?
Yeah, it's on contact table. It doesn't depend on flow.
Oh,
Okay. No question, then we can move to our next query. Uh,
Hi, Amisha. I had one question. Hi, Puneet here.
yeah.
So contact variables is something that can be, created within our flows and right, and
Yeah.
that gets attached to a contact.
Yeah.
And currently, the contact table might not have. I mean, of course, it won't have that particular variable. So when will that entire column, come to this contact table? Like, will that what is the how will it get updated, like that frequency or
Yeah, so it syncs every 2 minutes. So if that flow is running for you and you updated the contact variable, like I ran a flow for you that is asking your age, and as soon as you updated your age in Glyphic, after 2 minutes it will reflect in BigQuery.
Oh, no, no. I was not asking about the data within the contact variable. I was asking about a new contact variable itself. So there is a new contact variable. So that also is like gets synced in 2 minutes. Is it like once I create that contact variable in Glyphic?
Oh, okay. You are saying if you just create a contact variable
Right.
and you haven't run that contact variable for any of the users.
So
Yeah.
basically, Amisha, Puneet would want to understand like a contact has a variable named gender. Now, another variable named age is created in the flow. Then when that would be reflected in the BigQuery.
Correct. Yeah.
Puneet, am I right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. After 2 minutes of your creation, that will reflect in BigQuery.
Got it. Thank you so much.
So
Yeah.
same that also.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you, Amisha.
Amisha, sorry, one more question.
It's-
Uh, yeah, so if I understand correctly, for us to see it as a field label and field value, you always need to update contact in the flow, right? But why is that recommended? Because isn't all the data stored anyway under messages? Why is it recommended to update contact for every key value, right? For example, I'm doing a survey. There are about 10 questions. Now, for every question, only if I do update contact will it show up as a contact field value. Why is that recommended as to, because I know BigQuery anyway, syncs all the information. So why is that recommended?
so your question is, I mean, that thing is already coming in messages as well. Why was
Yes,
in contact? So
exactly.
to make a query, it's easier to make query in contact and messages. I mean, you have billions of messages or thousands of messages. So to get that
Mm,
particular value, you have to process every message. So it also depends on the cost of BigQuery. Plus,
mm,
when you put that thing inside contact variable, it will easy for you to see as well. Yeah,
mm,
that's fine if you want to use in
okay.
message, but
Mm.
it
But
also,
this is easier, is what you're saying.
yeah, and also it impacts your BigQuery when we make the queries.
Mm.
Uh, the Okay, so if you move to the next query, so this query is to view contact related details for a specific phone number. So is this the similar one? I just here if I want to just see all the details for a particular phone number. Yeah, so here I can see for that particular phone number, like his status, language, or everything, his opt-in time, his last message at, and the collection, every detail or everything, the contact related detail will come up here using this query. Okay, and if I want to know today, I go to my BigQuery and I want to know like how many active contacts, I mean, today are there in my chatbot. So I'll just run this thing where, so when the user is in session window, so that means he is active. He's messaging on your chatbot. So his provider status will be session and HSM. Or so if I run this thing, so three. So three users are active in my chatbot currently. So that I can see here as well in the BigQuery. So these are the some basic contact level information SQL queries. Um, any questions till now before we move to flow information? Anything else you would want to know?
Hey, I had a question. This is Abhinit from Practice.
Sorry.
I had a question. I'm Abhineet from Practice. I was wondering if some of the contact variables could be changed on the table here, and would they reflect back on Glyphic?
No, it doesn't work reverse. I mean, if you change in Glific, it will reflect here. But if
Okay.
you make any change here, it won't reflect in
Okay.
Glific.
Okay. Sure. That's what I was checking. Thank you.
Any more questions? Cool. Then we can move to flow information. So in flows, if you want to know like how many times a particular flow has started. So I'll just copy this query and run this query. So this query is basically checking for all the flows. Sorry, it's giving you the total count of how many times this flow, the SERT test has run for the user, for all the users. So total number it's showing 28. So this is just is counting all the users. If I want to count for like if I want to count distinct user, like if I distinct. So the previous query was counting all all the times that particular flow had run, and this query is counting for it's counting one time for a particular user. So it's not if the flow has run for more than one for a particular user, it won't count. So for four contexts, this particular query has run. And I want to know for a particular user, like I'll just copy this thing and just select the count because here so for this particular count, I want to know how many times this particular flow has run. So 0 times. For this particular flow, the flow hasn't run. So this is how the flow context query, SQL query runs. So this is the only information that flow has. Any questions or anything else you would want to know about flow?
So Anisha, we were facing this problem that we wanted to know if the flow that we have sent is going to everyone, like all the people in our contacts.
Sorry, your voice is going. I mean, I can't hear properly.
Are you audible? Hello.
Lisa, you're not audible actually. There is a lot of background noise from your end. If you could shift somewhere or type your question on the chat, we'll be able to assist you better. And others can also listen or read to your query. If Lindsay, are you typing the query or would you like to unmute yourself and share it?
Yes, typing the query.
Okay, okay.
Meanwhile, anyone else has any questions on flows? Okay, let's move to next slide. We can take the question later. So now the message information. So if I want to know like how many messages got delivered for a flow, like I started a flow for 100 users, and out of those 100, how many got the message? So here I'll just copy the query and run. So this is the flow name, and the BSP status is delivered. So BSP status is the status that Gupshup sends us back. If the message is delivered, Gupshup sends us the status delivered. So if I just, so three users got the BSP status delivered. So this is the overall users. It's not filtering out any contacts, any duplicate contact. If I just put a distinct here, so only one user. So for only single user got this flow, and before we were getting three, that means that particular flow ran 3 times for the user and he got messages 3 times. So this is how we check how many users got the message delivered. And second is, if someone is sending us the images, like our scenario, if we are asking if you go to the gym today or not, if yes, then send us an image. So let's say today 10 users sent us the image, and I want to see like what image they send or their images. So I can just filter out the messages and just directly see the image with contact, like what context and what image. I can just filter out based on the type of the message. So yeah, this is the image. This is just a testing account. So we didn't sync the GCS URL. But here the URL would be coming here and the contact name. If you have any other examples. I'll check. So currently in the testing account, there is no GCS synced URL, but if you run this query, we will see the GCS URL here and the contact name here. So we can simply see like this contact send what image. And there are multiple media types. The type is text, image, quick reply, audio, document, and video. Quick reply is the interactive template, audio, document. So if you put the text or a quick reply, we can see like what users and what message or what reply or what document he shared with us in the media as media. So this is the content message related information that we can see in our chatbot. Any questions on this?
So, Amish, I had one question on the first one. So, when you spoke about the message delivered, that is solely related to HSM template messages, right? Or any message?
Any message.
Any message. Okay, okay, got it.
Here in the message, if you want the HSM message, its type is text only. So you can put one more filter, type text, and then filter out the HSM messages and can see the deliver.
Okay, but I mean, in a flow, there can be other text messages also, right?
Yeah.
So
Uh,
we won't be able to filter out just the HSM messages.
I mean, if you want to filter out the HSM message here in the, so we have template UUID. In Glific platform, you will see the template UUID. And if you put the filter of template UUID here in this query, instead of flow name, just put the filter of template UUID
Got
and
it.
BSP status is delivered. You will see like how many got the that particular HSM message.
Got it. So the template UID I can take from like the Glific template.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Any other question on this?
Will it be inside the template section in Glyphic, Amisha? The whatever template UUID that you mentioned?
Or okay, I'm not sure. I'll just check.
So, Puneet, you can go into the templates and there is a copy icon where you will get the UID. Amisha, before this,
Oh, okay,
in the
okay.
previous screen, yeah, this, yeah,
Oh
you
yeah,
can.
your copy.
Oh, got it, got it. Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay. So these are the queries to analyze our chatbot, like contact, flow, or messages level information. Now, if you come to, but if I'm just running this query, I don't know, I mean, how this query is impacting my data in BigQuery. So what queries can affect our data? So basically, when we do select, so select queries are safe. They are just reading your data. But there are queries like which includes insert, update, delete, or drop. So they can affect your data if you just run these things by mistake. If you have these things in your queries, so it can affect your data. I mean, update means it will update your previous value with something else. It will delete your table, your column, or anything, or insert. It can insert a new value in your data. So here select query are safe query. They just read your data like like we did for all the contact flow or messages. So if you ever want to just check your BigQuery or check your information, you just need to make sure that you are using select query. I mean, that doesn't include these four. And what insert, update, and delete they queries does, they modify your data. It's like here is an example. It's like delete from user something. This is the query. If you run this query, it will delete everything. It will delete your user, your all the users that you have in your data. So if you want to make the same query, or if you want to delete the data, if you need to delete the data, just put a filter like where is the filter. If you're putting a filter like delete from user where user ID is 10, so it will delete only that particular user. If you're not putting any filter or anything anywhere condition, it will delete your all the users. So just make sure if you are running these queries, we put conditions. Or drop or truncate. So drop, it deletes your table only directly. So if I just run delete table user, drop table user, it will drop your users table. It will delete your users table in your BigQuery. So we shouldn't use this drop and truncate ever. I mean, as far as I know, you will even won't even need to run these query insert, update, or delete. So this select query is fine. This is just to let you know like what are the unsafe queries that we can run in our BigQuery. Yeah. Any question on that on this slide? No question, then. So here, so this is a view. So view is a virtual table in BigQuery that we run. It's like the saved query result. When we, if I, let's say if I have this table, I ran this query, I ran this query. So I want to store this query and see this query every day. Like every day I want to come in Glyphic and see like, okay, this user has this without even coming and pasting here the same query and running. So I'll save this query in a view. So save view. So what this view does, it takes a particular part of your query. a particular part of your data, like it's only taking GCS URL and contact name out of the whole contact table, and it will create a, I'll just show you. It will create a new table for you. I mean, it will be treated like a, and if I save this thing, it will be here. If I just close this thing, and if I go here, where is the, yeah. If I go here, in the details, so this view comes here. Like in the details section, you go here and you can see your query. So these things we use to get the data in Looker Studio, so that when we make a query, we don't need to make query in the whole contact table or messages table every time. So it saves your cost, and all, it's always up to date, like all the latest data it includes in its it by default the latest data goes into view. So every time you come and you check a view, it will give you the latest information. So this thing we use for, majorly we use for dashboard and all, because when we take the table from dashboard, we only take view so that it can impact your cost. Yeah, so it doesn't use extra space and it saves cost. So talking of cost, how the cost impacts your BigQuery is like, so the BigQuery cost depend on how much data you are processing. It's like if you are making a query and you are not using any condition, you are just doing the query like select all from this table. So it's the query is processing all the data that you have in your messages. And BigQuery cost, the more the processing, more the cost you have in BigQuery. So to save that cost, we create view. So that every time we make a query, we make for the particular condition that we have or in the particular row or column. So that's where we save the cost using views. Yeah. Any questions on views? Like any confusion? Okay, that's it. There's the overall information that we wanted to give you regarding the BigQuery. So, Sangeeta, did we get the question earlier for flow?
Yeah, we got it on the chat.
No, you answered it in the later part of the.
So there's any question for, I mean, from overall information or overall presentation, I can take the question.
I just have a query. Related to just this BigQuery itself. So there are different tables, right? Like you mentioned, those are the four main tables. I know that for each of the data that's there, in the schema, there is a description of what that means. Is there like a overall documentation of what this table would mean? Like as to get a sense of, if I'm creating like a custom chart in the BigQuery, so that I know that I'm using the right data to create that chart. So I just want to ask that.
Yeah, I think we have a documentation. Sangeeta, we have table documentation, do we?
Like BigQuery table, yeah.
I mean, what table does what?
Yeah, understanding of table. Let me check once.
Yeah, Puneet will share with you in the chat.
Great, thank you so much.
Any question for anybody else? Okay.
Hi Amisha, this is Vishwa from FMCA. Thanks for doing this session. Uh, I have one question. So during this call, you explained that when we want to know number of users who started certain flow, we use flow context, right? And that's what we have done for the V5 dashboard as well. I just wanted to understand why did we not use message table? Because message table also has flow label, everything, flow label, phone number, everything message table also has. So why do we prefer to look at flow context instead of message table?
Uh, if you are putting flow label at the start of your flow or anywhere in your flow, just to know like, okay, this user has went to through this flow, you can check flow label as well. But why we put in flow context table? Because flow context table has all the info. I mean, the flow information is not related to message. That's why we kept it separate. Message has specifically like what message we have in chatbot. It doesn't have any flow related information. It just have message related information. Plus, apart from keeping the flow information, flow context table has in depth, like this flow went to this node, that node, that node. Flow, messages table doesn't have, and messages table is already a huge table. I mean, keeping the flow in messages table, it won't make much sense. I mean, keeping the flow information in messages table. So that's why we have a separate flow context table.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, then. Priyesh, anything else?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Amisha. Thank you, everyone. Puneet, is your query answered? Like, so, Sangeeta, if we have anything more specific to tables where there are more explanation to what those table means, except the a brief description, because I think Puneet is already aware of those descriptions and he would want uh, a documentation,
Yeah.
a comprehensive documentation, something that is covering all the tables and what all those tables do, so that he's pulling in the right data. So if we have that, it's okay. Otherwise, that we could
Yeah.
communicate.
Yeah, right now we need to log it because all the like
Okay.
tables are self-explanatory. That's the reason we hadn't kept
Okay.
it. We can log a ticket and pick it in our
Okay.
quarter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Puneet, thank you. Thank you so much for pointing this out. So
No
we
problem.
we
Thanks.
could see how effective it would be on what we have currently, uh and to put a document around the same, and then we could share the same with you. There are certain other resources as well the uh, for the participants, which includes learning SQL fundamentals, learning more about the costing parts, learning about the BigQuery, which I would be sharing in the mail, which I would be sharing post this session after sanitizing this particular video, masking the numbers, etc. So all those can also be looked with along with a previous session which was held by one of our team members, whose details I had shared in my introductory mail. But I'll re-share that, which also covers an example covering how the cost in tables and then is calculated, and so that you can optimize that and make queries around the same. Okay. Okay.
We'll
Okay, Beneath.
share the presentation with you as well.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll also share the deck with you. And beneath point noted, we'll be sharing those FAQs also. Okay. So just a request would be, I am launching a feedback. So everyone, please fill it up and mention your name, your organization name for sure. I think you would have received in your screens now. Amisha, is it visible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it
Okay.
is. Prayesh.
Okay. Thank you, Sangeet. Once again, thanking everyone. So as and when one finishes up the feedback, can leave the session.
Abhineet has a like remark, like sorry, chat pay question that could we also post few
Yes, I've answered that, Sangeet. So yeah, taken note of it. So we'll be sharing in the mail itself.
We
Some
can
of,
log a issue also on GitHub and keep it
yeah.
handy. Yeah.
I would request people who are yet filling to uh, please fill the question number 4 and 5 consciously. It really helps us to uh, think what we have done good, so that it becomes repeatable and what could have been improved for future sessions. So yeah, thank you. I'll just stop the recording here. Yeah, anyone?
Sorry, Priyesh, just a question. I mean, related to BigQuery, but a little bit different. When I was integrating BigQuery, as in like basically Glific to BigQuery, right? When I was doing that, so I had to give permission to make this public, right? Uh, as in like the GCS.
You only need to give permission to service account. Public means, I mean,
Okay, there is one sec. I'm not sure if I'm getting the uh, name right.
If you want, Puneet, we can also share with you uh, the documentation around setting up the BigQuery, and so it will help you to guide yourself.
Puneet's question is regarding the bucket, like making the bucket public.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Sangeeta. Yes.
um, yeah, I think you need to make your buckets public is the thing.
So what's the concern, Puneet, around like making it
No, no. I
public
just
is
wanted
not,
to.
yeah, yeah,
I just
thank
wanted
you.
to
Please.
understand from you, like from a technical perspective, like I didn't truly get what it means to make it public, so I wanted to get more understanding. I've already integrated. Data is coming in, and like the Glyphic and the Looker Studio that is integrated. It's all very helpful, but I'm just trying to understand what it means for a bucket to be made public. I just wanted to understand that.
So we basically make it public so that we can dump all the data to your GCS,
Okay.
to your buckets. Because if it's private, then we don't have access to dump your data. Uh, but I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's the standard that we make it public. We can get back to you with the logical reason and all.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks so much.
Hey, I had a question too. Uh, this is Abhineet. Where do I check the size of the database? I mean, because now that you just spoke about it being dumped into a bucket, would I find it in the GCS under a specific, is that a specific name that is provided given to this bucket?
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't checked it, and that's why I was just curious of what would the name be. I can check
if you
it.
go to your GCS and search buckets, you can see all the buckets that you have.
Yeah, I mean, so what unfortunately I also have is like I have 200 odd other buckets. So I was just wondering what the name was. Cool. I'll just check it. I'll find it.
Um,
So yeah, taking note of Abhinit's and Puneet's queries. Sure, if you're answering something, if you are looking for some answers.
I want to thank both of you. It was a very good session. Dropping
Thank,
off. Yes.
thank you. Thank you, Puneet. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Amisha, are you looking for something or like, is it?
Nit, can you see the CC rights or something like a bucket name?
I actually could yeah, I mean there's a bunch of buckets which I did not create. So I'm pretty sure the one which is public to internet should be the bucket. My org
Yeah.
name is called Practice and it says it's public to internet. I'm pretty sure that's the other bucket which is yeah.
Yeah, the one that is public to internet is the bucket that we are accessing or dumping
Okay,
that.
okay. Yes, that helps. Thank you very much. And yeah, thank you folks. Thank you very much. Have a good
Thank
day.
you, Abhinit. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm stopping the webinar.